Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of A Seasonal Guide, the podcast for seasonal workers from seasonal workers. In this episode, we talk to Katie, who works in the spa for Royal Caribbean as an inodermist, but she also touches on life working in the spa in general. So we go over the whole recruitment process and everything that's involved, including a company called Steiner, who are actually the recruiters for a number of different cruise companies, and then the general chat about ship life and the pros and cons, as we do in all the other podcasts. I do want to say this is the last podcast we are going to do for a while on ship life. We are going to move on to different seasonal workers. I do want to delve into Camp America, holiday repping, teaching English. So we're going to move on to a few different podcasts after this one. So it will be the last one on ships for a short while. So as always, enjoy. If you do, give the Facebook page a like, give it a share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. But here is episode number 4 with Katie. So here we are, episode number 4 with Katie, as I've just said in the introduction. Katie, how are you doing?
Hi Danny, how are you?
I'm very good. So it's a little bit different, this podcast, because all the other jobs I've spoken about previously, I've got a little bit of knowledge of, but the spa is a completely different world to me. So we're going to go right from the start about how you got the job, what qualifications you need for the position, and then we'll go on to the day-to-day work in the spa and the usual ship life and the pros and cons of it. So first of all, what is it you do in the spa?
So I am a spa therapist, but I specialise in the inothermy part, so the slimming and detox treatments.
Okay, so inothermy, I'm going to give it a basic, because I have had inothermy. I had a free trial on my first ship. You put some sort of toxins on the stomach, put some sort of machine on which vibrates, and you lose weight. That's the way I see it. Do you want to expand that a little bit?
You don't put toxins on the body. We're the ones that get rid of the toxins in the body.
I knew there was toxins in there somewhere. Okay. So that's the main thing that you do. So what qualifications do you need to do that? Is that something you went, I'm going to go on the ship to be an inothermist, or did you kind of stumble across it?
No, so I went on the inothermist to actually become a massage therapist. But yeah, because I have the qualifications for the INI, they put me into inothermy, which they tend to do. Steiner tend to put INIs. INIs are from mainly South Africa and England. But yeah, if you have the qualifications, they put you in for it, and then they see how confident you are. You have to be very confident for that speciality in spa. But all you need is basically your level 1s, 2 and 3s in either hair or beauty to become a spa therapist.
Okay, so you mentioned Steiner. We'll get into them a little bit now. So what are the qualifications you've got? And is it college? Is it university?
No, so mine's college. I've got my level 1 and 2 hair, and then my level 1, 2 and 3 beauty therapy. Okay.
So if you've got them, does that almost allow you to go down any route in the spa? So you could become an inothermist, you could become a masseuse. I know people do nails and stuff. Or are they specific qualifications for each job?
No, so I was asked to be a hairdresser, but I didn't want to be a hairdresser. Like I said, I wanted to be a massage therapist. But yeah, if you've got your beauty, you can either become a facialist, a massage therapist, or an inothermist. And then obviously hair is hair, and nails. You can become a nail tech if you have your beauty, but if you have like all your nail, like extra nail degrees, like like extra nail courses, then they'll probably put you into being a nail tech.
Okay, so there's the basic qualifications. That's good. Steiner then. So it's a little bit different because I should just expand a little bit. We worked together on the last ship, Enchantment of the Seas, but technically you're not employed by Royal Caribbean. I think I'm right in saying you're employed by Steiner. So how do you go about getting the job with Steiner, and how does that tie into Royal?
So with Steiner, you obviously apply online for Steiner. So you apply on their website, and then they bring you in for interviews, and you do, I don't know what the word is, Danny, where you do like So for me, I had to do a massage. They had to like watch me do a massage to see
Oh, okay.
how I was. I don't know what that word is, Danny.
Like a demonstration for them, I'm guessing.
Yes, that's a demo.
Yeah.
And then you basically choose when you want to join a ship, and do your training. So I chose to do it in November in 2018, I think. I was there for 4 weeks. And then you go in and then they choose like what kind of route you go down. And then you do all your trainings in there and then they choose like according to you. So they base it on you on what ship you'd work on best or what company you'd work on best. So you get sent to like, you can get sent to Royal, you can get sent to Carnival, Princess, P&O, all the different.
That's interesting. So Steiner, it's not just Royal specific. You can go to different companies with them.
Yeah, so I think we're on. I think it's like 300 spas. So we're on like cruise ships, and we do have ones on land as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the training with actually, let's go to the interview first. So it's kind of a face-to-face interview, then a demo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
so
once you've done that, go on.
With the interview, you go in like groups, and then like they basically explain everything to you, and they tell you about everything. They explain like it's going to be hard. They tell you if you really don't feel like you can do it, then get up and leave now. But yeah, they give you a lot of information. It's very informative, and then they do the demo part, and then yeah.
It's either kind of pass or fail to the next round. Then I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right. So the training itself, how long did the training take? Do you go somewhere on land to do it, or how does that work?
So it depends where you are in the world. So for me in England, we have an academy in England. I believe they have one in South Africa and India. I'm not sure where the rest are. But yeah, it depends. It depends what you're doing. So because I only do massage and eye-knee, I only needed like 4 weeks. It's really, really intense training. Like it's very intense. Like it's all jammed into like 1 week or 2 weeks and everything has to be perfect. But like say so I had a friend that I trained with and she was like sent to a small ship where she had to do pretty much everything. She had to be a nail tech, massage therapist and a hairstylist. And she was there for like 8 weeks.
Okay then. So yeah, I'm guessing then before you go to this training, they pretty much know which ship you're going on and what position you're going to be doing, so they can train you specific for that. At that stage, do you know, and do you get any say in it? Could you go, I'd prefer to go with this company, or I'd prefer to do that type of work, or is it just what they tell you?
Yeah, so you have no say in it. They choose it. Yeah, and you don't know. So I found out 3 days before I was leaving.
Wow, 3. Because I know, how many contracts have you done now?
I've done 2.
Oh yeah, I thought you'd done more than that. Shows how well I know you, Katie.
I've done 2, but obviously they're 9 months long, aren't they?
Oh yeah, you do get longer contracts. We'll get into that a little bit in a minute. So your first contract you found out 3 days before, you said, and then that was it, you were away?
Yep.
Okay, so where was that first contract? What ship? Where did you go?
So it was the beautiful Radiance of the Seas, and I had to fly out to Sydney, Australia. And we were doing, I think we'd done 4 months in Australia, New Zealand, and the South Pacific Islands.
Yeah.
And then we done a crossing, and we done Hawaii, Bora Bora, like the French Polynesia Islands, and then we went over to Alaska and Canada.
That sounds amazing. Did you need visas or anything to fly out to Australia, or could you literally go straight away?
Yeah. I needed a visa, but Steiner sorts that out for you. The only visa you need to make sure you have is your C1D.
Okay then. So that's pretty standard for ships. So the visa. What about a medical? Because I know with a lot of jobs you need to go and get a medical done. Is that the same with Steiner?
Yeah, same with Steiner. You have to get a medical done up in London, but they have the doctor that does it for you.
Right then. So it seems to be in general. Actually, I didn't realise this. That if you want to join a ship, you do need that visa, and you do need a medical.
Yeah.
So that was your first contract. Then your second one was obviously on Enchantment, where I met you. Did you do the same job? Were you an inouthermist on both the ships?
I was, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to touch on, because I've got a friend as well who worked on Symphony who was an inouthermist, and she would say it's very kind of sales driven. You have targets to meet, and that's where you can make a lot of your money. So just touch on the sales part of it a little bit for me.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of it is based on like retailing. You make a lot of your money on retailing. So it can be tricky, but if you can talk the talk and you can, do what you're supposed to do, then you can make a lot of money. But it depending on which ships, your targets are either higher or lower. Some seem absolutely bonkers that you never reach, and some are easy. Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's a case of if you know your stuff and you can talk about the product, you can almost sell it. In terms of those numbers, I'm guessing it tends to be higher targets on bigger ships, lower targets on smaller ships, or am I just making it up?
Not necessarily. It depends where you are. It's your itinerary, actually.
Okay.
Obviously, on bigger ships, your overall target as a team is probably much higher. But it depends like where you are. So in Alaska, my targets were like horrific. But Independence, where I can't remember where Independence were, the Inothermist on Independence, obviously that ship's bigger, a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Her targets were lower than mine. And it also depends on the person as well. So if you're very good at what you do, your targets are much higher. If you're not that confident in what you're doing, then obviously your targets are lower.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think of that. I guess it makes sense on that itinerary because obviously I'm guessing if you're at ports every day, people spend less time on the ships, so there's less chance for them to do these things. I just want to touch on the money side of it because I know you get commission, but you do get a basic wage as well. So you don't have to go into numbers, but say if you had a disaster of a week and you hardly sold anything, is the basic wage enough to live off, or do you really need those sales to up your money?
Well, for me, Danny, because I come from England and I have such expensive taste and I'm obsessed with the heel figure, the basic wage is definitely nowhere near enough for me. You definitely need to. You definitely work for your money. You can't slack. If you're not working, you're not getting paid. Basically, if I do say anything, if you have no guests for a whole day, you're basically getting paid £12 for the whole day. $12, sorry, not pounds. Sorry, I'm back in England. Yeah, so you basically get paid $12 for just going into work and basically doing nothing for 14 hours.
So those sales are really important then.
Definitely. Even if you're not selling your products, if you're getting guests in, you're still making money because basically every guest that we have, we make commission off doing just a treatment. So you don't necessarily have to be confident in selling products. If you're very good at getting guests in and guests like you and they want to spend time with you, you can make your money that way as well.
Okay, I would be no good in the spa. I would not make a penny. Right, that's all very good. I'm just trying to think if there's anything I've missed before we actually go into ship life. Do you think is there anything that people would find handy? Just that process kind of before you get on board and the day-to-day jobs, any useful information for anyone?
With the spa, you just have to be very confident, be yourself. Make sure you like red lipstick because they're very impressed with red lipstick.
Is that actually a thing?
Yeah. Steiner are hot on red lipstick or bright lipsticks. It makes you stand out. And makeup, you have to wear a full face of makeup. You can't turn up to work without makeup on. Your hair has to be done. You basically have to look like a princess every day.
Well, that's amazing considering you would get up 5 minutes before work in a hungover state.
Don't say that.
Joke. That's a nice top tip, though, actually. So if you go for the interview, wear red lipstick, yeah?
Yes, definitely. Wear red lipstick and a bun. They love buns.
I'd have a job with that. I got no hair. That is obviously top tips for any ladies. Guys, I wouldn't recommend turning up in red lipstick.
Obviously for the guys, because we've not really spoke about much for the guys, we have the gym as well. So if any guys are interested, we also have the fitness centre that you can apply for as well.
Do you know much about that if we go into that, or am I going to have to get someone who works as a personal trainer on?
I mean, I can touch base. I just know that you have to have obviously like your qualifications. If you have like your full qualifications, they do the rest of the training there. Like they train you in like yoga, meditation, detox. Yeah, it's pretty cool actually, fitness.
Yeah, I do see a few of the guys. They, again, commission based. They run classes. They sell products. And guys, I'm guessing, can work in the spa. Although the two ships I've done, I've never seen any guys actually doing the.
Well, you can, but Steiner, they brought out a rule that a male massager, like a male masseuse, can't massage females, and then male guests don't really like to be massaged by male masseuse. So it's difficult. It's hard for a man to be a therapist because they can be hair, they make a lot of money. But yeah, they have this rule where men are not allowed to massage women, and then obviously men don't like to be massaged by men, so they wouldn't really make too much money, really, to be honest.
All right, we won't get into that much. That's strange that like men can't massage women, but women can massage men. But yeah, that conversation's for another day. First ship, when you boarded, first 2 weeks on board, I ask everyone this: can you remember those first 2 weeks? What was it like? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What do you remember about it?
I cried for like a month straight.
You were crying when you left. What? Last time I saw you as well. Why did you cry?
So obviously how old was I? I was 20 years old. I'd never left home. My first thoughts were, oh my God, I've actually got to do my own washing.
Oh, that was the reason you were crying.
Well, no, I mean, obviously, like being away from family, like I'm a proper family person. Like I don't know, I never would have imagined myself. I didn't think about it until I was there, and I realised, like, damn, I'm not going to wake up the next day and, like, see my parents or my brother or my sister. Yeah. So I think that's what got me. Obviously, nothing. Like, nothing can prepare you for what you're stepping into, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, we could never explain to someone, like, what ship life is. So I think I was never prepared for it. But, yeah, I remember pulling up, and the taxi driver went, there's your ship. And I went, where is it? He went, right there in front of you. I said, I can't see it. And then he like opened up the door and he went, it's just there. I thought it was a building.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing when you do first get on board. Obviously, when I first joined, I was joining Symphony, which is the biggest ship in the world. And it was insane. When you step on, you don't even realise you're on the ship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're right in what you're saying. You can't prepare anyone for it. So the point of these podcasts is to give people as much information as possible. But, yeah, it is impossible to explain. So how did you cope those first 2 weeks in terms of what were the team like, the people in the spa? Did they help you out and rally around you? What about your laundry? How did you get on with that? And then what made it a little bit easier those first few weeks to settle in?
Definitely crew. Crew are probably the nicest people you'll ever meet, because they're all in the same ship. They're all in the same boat.
Wow, you're the first one to get that pun in on the podcast. Well done.
Yeah, everyone knows what everyone goes through. I was the youngest in the spa, so to be honest, I probably still do get this same.
You get mothered a little bit.
Yeah, so I was the youngest, and everyone, was mothering me, and I still do now. I love it. But yeah, no. I think the hardest part about it is probably waking up in the morning. For me, was waking up in the morning. The easiest part was going to bed.
Oh wow! And then the bit in between just filled the day.
I'll tell you what, actually, what made it a lot easier was after work when you get to crew bar and you meet everyone and everyone's just so relaxed and so, chilled, and like they take the time out to talk to you and make sure you're comfortable, and if you need anything, no one's selfish. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big thing for me, especially early on, to get to know people. But that's the part of the job I miss the most. And it almost sounds like we're all alcoholics because every podcast we all say the same. But it is going to that bar at night, even if you're not going to go and have a load of drink. It's more the social aspect. And it's every single night if you want it to be. So I always refer to back at home, there's that live for the weekend mentality, whereas you don't get that on a ship. It could be a Tuesday, Wednesday night, and it's like, oh yeah, let's go for a couple of drinks at the bar, and there's a load of people there, there's things to do. So I miss that the most.
Yeah, definitely I do as well.
Okay, let's move on to the pros and cons of ship life. So what do you enjoy most about ship life? Is it that lifestyle, the places you get to see, and what places have you been to that really stand out? And then we'll go on to the more negative things after that. So what are the big pros of working on a ship for you?
Money. Yeah.
I guess we all do want to work for money. That is the reason we do it. I'm guessing then, to big up your ego a little bit, you do all right with your sales if you're doing okay with money and you're not on $12 a day.
Yeah, not to brag, I was top of the fleet, but yeah.
Oh, were you really? I didn't know that.
I told you this. I was number one.
You didn't mention it every single day.
I think I mentioned it like 4 or 5 times every day.
That is a really good thing we touched on in the first podcast, I think, with Joe, though. It is really, really good to save money on ships because you are living there for free, you are eating for free, so you could essentially save 100% of your wage every time you got it. Do you find saving really easy to do?
Oh, definitely not.
Oh, wow.
Temptations are everywhere. You go out in the ports, you have all these shots, Victoria's Secrets, Tommy Hilfiger, and it's just so hard to walk in that shop and not buy anything.
So you're not saving, but you are coming back with a lot of expensive items that you've bought while you've been travelling.
I do save, but I do also like to treat myself as well.
Strange. I remember being in St. Martin with my roommate on Symphony, my first contract, and being a few months in. And like you say, because there's no bills or anything, and you're living and eating for free, and I don't know what you're on, but as a sports staff, the wage isn't too bad either. And I remember just going into shops going, money's not really an object here. I don't really need to look at the price tag on things. If I want it, I'm just going to get it. And I don't know when you get paid, because we'd get paid every 2 weeks as well. It's that lifestyle is amazing of just going in and going, yeah, I want this, I want that. And cost isn't really a thing that enters your head. Or for me, it wasn't anyway.
Yeah, that's the same with me. So I was getting paid weekly. So on my first contract, we were doing 7-day cruises, and then the most recent contract, we were doing like 2 cruises in 1 week. So I was getting paid for 2 cruises in 1 week. So yeah, like you said, I think going into shops and not checking prices. Well, to be honest, I couldn't read the prices anyway. It was
in the Caribbean.
But yeah, definitely, you don't have that worry, do you? Because you spend all your money and you know you're going to get paid in a week's time. So I think that's what it is, and it's all temptation. I will say I definitely saved my money in the in this lockdown, though.
Yes, you did. I wasn't going to mention the fact that you pretty much, well, just to clarify for everyone, so we were kind of isolated together on the ship during the whole virus, and there was a group of 6 or 7 of us that had hang out every day. We were quite lucky for the most part because the bar was open most of the time, the sun was out, we got to relax, and we pretty much acted like we were on vacation for a couple of months, getting drunk most days, and you only managed to spend, what was it? You went 2 weeks or something, spending like $20.
Yeah. I spent every day drunk.
Yes. We didn't clock on to that, me and a couple of the other lads, until later on. I think you actually admitted it. And then we started
saying, oh, I spent 300 and I spent 600, and you were all going on. I was like, oh, I've only spent $20.
Yeah, we made you pull your own weight after that, and you started going to the bar a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I knew the barman. He was good to me.
Yeah, he was. He was a really nice guy, Gede. We'll give him a shout out.
Big up, Gede, hey?
He was. But actually, just touching on that, because it is quite a serious thing, and there's a lot of negativity about the whole coronavirus thing and people on cruise ships and bad experiences. So how was yours?
Oh, do you know what? It was amazing. I tell everyone this when I'm at home now. I'm like, you guys all had to be locked up in your houses, and we were in the middle of the Bahamas floating around on a ship, partying all day and all night. We had the open bar, we had food, we had people, music. I don't think it got any better than that.
No, it was really good. Those first few weeks especially, we had the pools open and stuff. Then we did have to go through the isolation period. But then when it got a bit more serious, even then it was more lenient, because we could still kind of sunbathe and drink. We just had to wear a mask and keep social distancing. But we were going in the dining room. We were having meals brought up to us, and the meals were of a high quality. So I say this a lot because, as I said, there's a lot of negative things going around. But Royal couldn't have looked after, for me personally, much better while I was away on that ship during the virus.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at it now, we were very lucky. But obviously, when you're there and you're stressed out, like I remember, I was getting, when we were locked up, Danny. Oh my God, honestly, I could have cried.
We did go through what was it, like 12 days in our cabins. We couldn't leave, and they would bring us our food.
19.
How many?
19.
Was it 19 in the end?
Yeah, we done 19.
I didn't even realise it was that long. I do quite enjoy my own company, though, so it wasn't too bad. And it meant I could stop spending money for a couple of weeks, which was nice.
I was still spending money because I was spending it in Slop Chest.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So they did have, for anyone who doesn't know what the Slop Chest is, it's like the little shop on board. So you could email your orders through and then drop it off to your room. So you could still almost access everything, food and drink-wise. It's just it was brought to you and you had to stay in your cabin. But it's not like we were the only ones. Every ship was doing it, and we were lucky enough that we didn't have the virus on the ship. So once it was kind of over, we could get back out and about. But let's move on from the coronavirus stuff. Any cons to the lifestyle? Anything you'd change? Anything you don't like? Anything that kind of really upsets you while you're on board?
Well, I am a super fussy eater.
Okay.
So I would say I wish I could change the meat on the ships. I wish we could have our English meat brought over onto the ships. Yeah, I don't think I would change.
So for me, one of the things is, obviously there's different cultures. So I really like chicken, and there's always chicken, to be fair. My issue is 90% of the chicken is on the bone. And even when it's in curries and things like that, the chicken in the curries is on the bone, which I just can't go near it because of that.
I don't eat meat on ships, Danny.
You don't? Why?
No. The only thing I did eat was the salami.
I was going to say, I'm sure there were a couple of late nights where you were just sat there with a plate of salami at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's the only one I will eat. But like you said, like chicken on the bone, I don't eat any chicken on the bone. Like I will not go near it, even in England.
So would you struggled with the food?
Pardon?
Would you say you struggled with it?
Oh, definitely. And another thing that I did struggle with, and I wish I honestly, I took this to HR and everything. I wish they would get better tea bags.
Oh, wow. That's very British of you. Way too big of a stereotype.
I'm not, but their tea bags, I don't know what make it is, but it's just not a very good make. If they had like maybe PG or Red Label, I always take my own, but obviously I do drink a lot of tea, so I run out very quickly. But yeah, I wish they could have just better tea bags. I think that's the only thing I really would change about ships and the food.
Okay, top tip for British people: take your own tea bags.
Yes, take your own tea bags, definitely.
What did you? So you've done. How many ships have you actually been on? Just the two.
Oh, well, 3 if we're counting Empress.
Okay, so technically, yeah, you've been on 3. Did you find a difference in food between the ships, or were they all pretty much the same for you? Because I found a big difference from Symphony to Enchantment, for example.
Oh, yeah, Radiance was much better. We had a sandwich bar where we could toast and make cheese toasties.
And that's sometimes all you need, just some simple options. So if you don't like the main kind of courses that are available that day, you've always got a backup. Because I remember on Enchantment, if I didn't like the food, and 80% of the time my go-to would be they'd have like chicken breast, and then I'd normally chuck some pasta with it or something like that, and that'd be the majority of my meals on there. And then I also touched on other podcasts, but I'm going to mention it now. On the smaller ships, you don't have as many options. You can obviously go and eat in guest areas if you're in certain positions, but on Enchantment, for example, we only had the Windjammer, which is like the big buffet where guests go, and then one speciality restaurant. Whereas on Symphony, for example, you've probably got 10, 15 different restaurants where you can go and get food if you don't like the food available to you.
Yeah, definitely. Same on Radiance. I think we had 5 speciality restaurants.
Yeah, it makes a difference, especially with some of them. I know it won't mean much to people, but you have places like Johnny Rockets and Playmakers, which almost do takeaway, so you can grab your food, take it back to your cabin if you're in a bit of a rush and you've got work. So it is pretty good having that, but on the smaller ships, it's not an option you get. Accommodation, how'd you find it?
It depends on the ship. So my cabin on Radiance was massive, and then I come to Enchantment and it was tiny.
Yeah.
Obviously you have to share with someone.
Yeah.
So if you don't like sharing, then it's definitely not for you. Yeah, I mean you don't really spend much time in your cabin. You're either working or down crew bar, or I don't know, work, eating.
Work or bar.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean with that. It's something I wasn't too keen on sharing to start with. But like I said, every time I'm in the cabin, it's normally because I'm exhausted and I'm sleeping or napping, or I do just want to chill out, which means I've got my headphones on, I'm watching something on my phone or on the telly, and I'm just generally chilling out. So it almost doesn't become an issue. Depends who you're working with as well. I've been quite lucky that I guess people I've worked with, I don't know, we don't, I guessing it's different for girls actually. Let's touch on that, because do you share with someone from the spa most of the time?
Mostly yes. So spa has a few cabins that are just for spa, but it depends. So if we have a spare bed in one of our cabins and I don't know, the shoppies need it, then they'll put a shoppie in with us.
I imagine so. In the spa, for example, you're starting work at the same time. As you've said before, you've got to put a full face of makeup on and lipstick and all that jazz. What's it like, the whole bathroom situation? 2 girls starting work at the same time. Do you find yourself getting up earlier than normal because of it, or
so
not?
I'm very lucky with my roommates. I've had awesome roommates. So we kind of plan it out the night before.
Yeah.
Who will get up the extra 10 minutes earlier to take the shower first, and who will sit on the bed and do the makeup, and who will sit on the floor and do the makeup, if you understand what I mean. You just kind of plan it out.
It makes sense, and it is a big thing. I know it sounds a bit daft, but the amount of people that do want that extra 10 minutes in the morning and hit snooze and stuff, and then if you both do it and you're getting up at the same time and you both want to use the bathroom and you've got work, I imagine it can get a little bit stressful. So I think that's quite nice that you do almost plan it the night before, so it's all smooth in the morning.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, if you've not planned it, or you've woke up with a hangover, or you've woke up late, then it can be real stressful. I know for me, I get up quite early because my makeup takes forever.
Putting your eyebrows.
Yeah, my eyebrows. Actually, my eyebrows don't take that long. But the thing with me, Danny, because I'm a big part of the spa, everyone, like everyone sort of knows me, and if I'm not there, they know I'm not there. So I can't even.
So what you're saying is you're quite loud in work and you make your presence felt. So when you're late, they know you're late.
Yeah, so if I don't draw my eyebrows on, they all presume I'm either hungover or ill.
I need to start getting people on here that aren't British or don't drink as much, so we can stay away from the alcohol, because it comes up with. We don't even ask about alcohol, and it comes up in nearly every question.
Should you get Franco on here?
No, definitely not. Personal highlights. So normally this is places you've been. I know I've had like the performers on before, the singers and dancers, and their highlights are actually performing. I'm guessing yours isn't performing einothermy, but what have been your favourite things that you've done so far? What places stand out and stick in your memory, and just general good times that you've had?
Oh, so my number one would be when I was on my first ship in Alaska. I done the zip line. I think it's the world's longest zip line or the world's tallest. I'm not sure which one it is.
In Alaska?
Yeah.
That sounds insane. Was it cold?
It wasn't actually. I was sunbathing in Alaska.
Were you really?
Yeah. In the summer, it's really hot. It's like England.
Oh, cold then?
No, like it's hot. So they still have snow on top of the mountains, but down like, on the ground.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
I think Alaska's a big bucket list for a lot of people as well. Anywhere else as well as Alaska that stands out? Places you've been?
Actually, it wouldn't be places. I think highlights are more the people that you meet.
Yeah.
I think that's a big highlight of my whole entire journey on ships, is meeting people all over the world, watching them like grow and get on with their life. They watch you. Like, it's nice. It's nice. It's very nice to know that you have friends all over the world. Like, you can go visit them. Like, if you want to pop over to South Africa, you've got people over there. I think that's a big highlight. Yeah, and I just think memories from ships.
That's nice. I almost feel we could wrap it up on that, but I have got a few more questions, so you can say that again right at the end. I just want to touch on, because a big purpose of these podcasts are for people that haven't done this type of work, and they might be researching and looking to do it, and they stumble across these, and it hopefully helps them out. So any tips for applying to work in the spa and with Steiner? Anything you would have liked to have known before, I guess, before going through the interview process, getting the job, and also joining a ship? So tips for anybody that's not done this, which makes their life a little bit easier.
I think you have to take into consideration that you are going to be away from home for a very long time. There might be days that you don't speak to people back home. For me, I would say don't do it if you're in a relationship. For me, it's hard to do long distance relationships. So, yeah, I think that's the only thing I would say. Other than that, be yourself and be confident.
You're the first one who's touched on that, the whole long distance relationship thing. That could be a very good point as well. That's quite nicely brought up. Just a little bit of advice there, that really think about it if you are in that situation. Yeah. What about bringing things with you, especially as a girl? Anything you wish you'd brought more of, or anything you'd think, actually, that's just taken up room in my case and I wouldn't bring it again?
Oh, well, I will say, obviously working in the spa, your uniform has to be perfect, especially Aini. I would buy like 7 sets of uniform, because trying to do your washing, you're on a ship with 800 crew and you've got like maybe 12 washing machines. It's very time consuming to get your washing done.
Yeah. So if you haven't got many sets of uniform, then you're essentially doing your laundry every few days, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say definitely bring more uniform. Socks. You'll lose your socks everywhere.
So
like, the washing machine eats them. You'll put like 4 pairs of socks in, and you'll probably get maybe 1.5 pairs back.
Couldn't be any. Every month I seem to be buying a pack of 12 socks, and
Yeah, same
by
as
the end of the
me.
month they've gone. Just touching on the uniform quickly, because I've not mentioned that with anybody else, even in the sports one, but a lot of departments you do have to buy your own uniform. Is it the same? You're paying for uniform?
Yeah, so when you join Steiner, you have to pay obviously for your training, your medical. You have to do what's that, Danny? What's that check that you have to have, the police check?
DBS.
Yeah, you have to pay for that as well, and then
Yeah.
you pay £40, but you get your like your uniform for the academy, and then they give you 2 sets of uniform for your ship.
So you get 2 free of charge, but you can buy more on top, which is what you recommend, so you spend less time doing laundry.
Definitely.
There we go. Some more good advice. So let's sum it up. Your experience as a whole. Why do this? If you could think back to those weeks before you joined your very first ship and you might have had doubts and you were hesitating, what tipped you over the edge? What made you go and do it? And what would you say to people who are at that stage listening to this who are thinking, I'd love to do something like that, but they just need a little push to get over those final few steps and actually do it? Any advice you'd give them?
Well, actually, Danny, I done it. So I always said I wanted to do it, and no one believed in me. They all thought I was too stupid for that. So the reason why I went for it, and I was, I had doubts in my head, obviously, like leaving home, and there was times where I just wanted to take the train back home and just quit then and there. But then obviously I thought, I want to show everyone, I'm better than what they're making me out to be. And yeah, I kind of just done it. And plus, if I come home, my parents would have whipped my ass. Oh, I can't say that.
No, you're fine. So you kind of had a point to prove. So people were a bit like, I'm not sure you can do that and stick it out. So that kind of fired you up to go and do it.
Definitely.
All right. Anything else? Anything you think we've missed? Anything you think that would be helpful? Any general inspiration for anyone looking to do it? Any bits of advice? Absolutely anything at all that I might not have covered?
I just think you have to be an open person. You have to be open to everything. That's the only advice I'd give anyone.
Yeah, and I say this a lot, but everyone on the ship as well, we all seem to have that similar mindset. That's why we're there doing that type of work. So I do find it easier to get on with people, which is a big plus. Katie, thank you very much for your time. I know, have you got work soon?
I have, yeah. Do you know, Danny, I'm so happy that you had me on it. I thought he's never going to ask me when I asked you the other day.
Well, I was going to stay away from the spa for a little bit, in all honesty, because I don't know a great deal about it. But I think we've pretty much covered everything. So I think you've done a good job there. So again, thank you. Hopefully it is useful for people. As I said, the aim of this is for people that haven't done it before. So hopefully, for example, you, before you'd done this type of work, if you come across this podcast and you listen to it, you'd think, actually, that was really helpful. And it's given me some hints and tips before going away. So that's the point of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I applied, Danny, I went on YouTube and I was looking at like people that have worked on ships, and it bloody scared me.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I do. Not just ships, but every season I do. I research it and find out as much as I can. And I don't feel there's a great deal of information out there. So this is just, hang on, there's someone who actually does the job, a 40-minute interview with them. I'm going to listen to that, and that's going to help me make my decision on whether to go or not. And hopefully, by what you've said, you've not put people off.
Oh, no, don't be put off by what I said.
No, I think it's been quite positive and it's been informative. So if you have liked it, make sure you are subscribing to the YouTube channel. You're liking the Facebook page. Feel free to share it. And hopefully these do grow and grow. And I'm just going to touch on really now, so I don't have to do like an ending bit, but I think starting next week, for anyone who does listen each week, we are going to move on from ships and go to some different seasonal positions. So, Katie, you have wrapped up ships for now. Thank you again. Any final words?
Danny, can I ask a favour?
Oh, go on.
You know when you play the music at the beginning?
Yes.
Can you please put on a decent song?
I will pick one specific for you. I've already got one in mind.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danny.
Bye.